WQAM. It is Thursday, Hollywood. Dono, Dan Day along here with you. And look at this. Alex Solana has joined us. He's on video as well as he makes his way, I think, to the gym. You told me this morning. You getting a little exercise in there, Solana? How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Unlike you, I hit the gym. I'm still working on my basketball game, making sure our next media day tournament I have to carry your ass again. So just go get a little cardio in.
Well, my playing days may be over, Solana, but I'm a coach now at the JCC League. So
Are you really?
I'm
Oh, wow.
coaching, and
What are you teaching them? How to brick shots? That's all I remember you doing.
Oh,
I got to tell you, my team has not had a lot of success this year. We're learning. We're going through the process. The process is taking longer than I had hoped here, but we're working on it. But last night, the Heat do fall to the Cavs 130 to 116. The Heat gets smashed in the fourth quarter, 37-19. Now, I'm not like overreact to regular season NBA guy here, Solana, but clearly you want to win these games. And I feel like we've had this talk many seasons in a row now that like you got to win these games at home because you don't want to end up in the play-in tournament. And I don't think that this is a play-in team anymore. And I'll get to this Norman Powell thing, which has been an incredible story. But if you can, just walk us through last night's game. What did you see in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, and you know what? Hollywood going into that game yesterday, part of my pregame show, I was doing the keys to the game. I said, hey, if we feel like this team is genuinely legit, and when I say legit, I'm not saying they're title contenders. Like, you don't know through 11 games if they're title contenders or not. But I do think with the way that the offense is playing, with how Norman's competed, and with the results of this season, the teams they beat without Tyler, and now beating that Cavs team without Bam, the best game of the season, capped off by the best play of the season. I said, hey, I think this team can genuinely compete for a top 4, top 5 seed in the East. The best teams in the East, the best teams in the NBA win that game last night, right? Like they don't have a drop off in the fourth quarter when really they coasted it in the first half. And if you had told me the Cavs were going to win that game without Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, I would have said, wow, they shot 33s, right? They set an NBA record for threes. Sam Merrill and Dean Wade would go off. Guys, Sam Merrill and Dean Wade combined for 0 points at halftime. Dean Wade finished with 8 points. Sam Merrill had 5. The Heat made more threes than the Cavs last night. Period. End of story. Miami lost this game in the fourth because for the first time all season, they could not allow the pace they want to play at impact the game. And to me, I don't think it's a big concern, but that's the first time this season where you couldn't get stops, you couldn't get out in transition, and you had to rely on your half-court offense, and Miami couldn't generate a single thing. So I think there was a lot you could learn yesterday. Forget who you were playing. That's still a really good Cavs team. It was the first time this season where Miami has to say, hey, we turned the ball over a lot, and without getting stops, we couldn't get out in the open court. Something has to change if we encounter that situation again.
is that a warning sign to you that maybe this newfound pace of play philosophy, which I've loved watching, is that a warning sign to you that maybe it's not as sustainable as we hoped, or that there's just more adjustments needed and maybe more adaptation to get that working consistently?
Yeah, Dono, it's totally fair. I don't know if it's a warning sign yet because that's literally the first quarter that Miami all season hasn't been able, not to necessarily only have the results, but where it hasn't impacted their offense at all. You can look back to that Denver game. Even though they couldn't stop the Joker, they never can, their offense was still scoring points, and they were down double digits in the fourth, and they were still able to come out and play that style, get to the rim, and score points. And, they ended up losing by less than double digits because of their offense. So even in the losses this season, they've played to the style that they want to play. Yesterday, I'm telling you, man, like it was the first game all season where they're down 4 with 7 minutes to go. You're like, all right, no big deal. They're down 8 with 6 minutes to go, and everybody's kind of looking around the arena. All right, hey, what? When are you going to kick it into gear here? Then all of a sudden, it's a 12-point game with 3 minutes to go, and the Heat offense hasn't generated anything. So, something to monitor for sure, because if it gets to the point where other teams are doing what the Cavs did last night, packing the paint, putting a bigger body on Jaime Jaquez Jr., making things a lot more difficult when Norman Powell catches. Those are things that could lead to your offense slowing down. But bottom line, the Heat just have to clean things up. 21 turnovers. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're playing.
Alex Solana here with us. Catch him at 2 o'clock today alongside his co-hosts, Crowder and Mark Hockman. And he also handles all of our Heat hosting here at the station as well. And Solana, you're as close to this as anyone. And my theory around this Heat team is that they don't have to deal with any drama this year. They feel like a very drama-free group. And I know that Jimmy is gone, and that seemed to take a significant toll on this team last season that they never really recovered from. And it just feels like that cloud has been lifted from this team, and they are playing freely and loosely and kind of enjoying themselves. It seems like this team has fun. Do you buy into that theory?
I do. Hollywood, I remember distinctively you and me sitting at Hard Rock last year at our Hard Rock Bets party, and you were making fun of me because I was telling you, hey, this team's not that talented, but the one thing you can rely on is they play hard, and you made fun of me, and you were right to make fun of me because at the end of the day they were responsible for the most lopsided loss in the history of the NBA playoffs. But I do think one point I was making to you last year was you can't downplay, not you necessarily, but people can't downplay losing your franchise player in the middle of the season when he literally was telling you, I don't want to be here anymore. I think that messes with a locker room, genuinely. Any sport, right? Across sports. So this year you come in, you have the first ever barbecue at Coach Spoelstra's house, and the Heat social media team is everywhere. And they're posting video, and they want people to see like camaraderie is being built. And then you enter this game last night, or excuse me, on Monday, and you get that game winner. Andrew Wiggins is talking to a social person about the play, and Norman Powell comes over and he bear hugs him. And then you see how they're celebrating in the locker room. There's just something about this team where everybody's buying in, and there's no big egos, right? I mean, Tyler Herro might have the biggest ego on this team, but he's not around. And I don't think it's a bad thing about his ego. I mean, it led him to being an all-star. So to your point, like there's just every personality kind of fits. And I think everybody understands that, hey, nobody here is a superstar. Everybody has to be able to contribute. And when you start off 7-4 without Tyler, Bam misses some games, you're winning against teams that nobody really thought you were winning. I think it adds to that chemistry. So right now, man, everything is fitting. And you mentioned Norman Powell. The Heat essentially got him for nothing. The most lopsided trade last season. And the Clippers are looking like they could desperately use Norman Powell, and he has said the right thing. He's looking for an extension here in Miami, and he's been playing like he deserves one so far.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Tyler Herro, and it's going to be a good problem to have when you've got, another prolific scorer and great player returning. But how's the dynamic going to work, Solana? When Tyler Herro is back, whose spot is he taking, and how many shots is he taking away from Norm Powell?
Or Pelle Larsson, Dono.
Yeah.
No, it's fascinating. What I do want to say is I've seen a lot of people ask, hey, can Herro play this style? The Heat are setting less screens, on-ball screens, than any team has in the history of the NBA in the past 15 years. So they've really, for those not paying attention because it's so early in the season, it's not just that they're playing fast. Any team can play fast. But is it going to produce quality results? Miami is setting less screens than anybody. They've committed to getting to the paint, and they've transformed completely the style of basketball in which they play and in which they initiate offense. But I still think there's a lot of area where they can grow. Dono, part of that is three-point shooting. When you're playing at this fast a pace, Miami's not generating enough threes. And a lot of their shots are difficult shots inside the paint, and they've been making those. Last night they didn't, right? Jaime goes 4-14. That's where Tyler Herro, in my opinion, can take this offense to really good right now with the way that they're playing to maybe great, right? In the likes of how Boston played a couple seasons ago, how Milwaukee played a couple seasons ago, how the Cavs were playing a couple seasons ago, where, yeah, you're playing fast, but you're also taking the right shots. The idea, the notion that Tyler can't play this style to me is just ridiculous. I mean, sure, he's used screeners consistently over the past couple seasons, but that's just the way Miami played, right? It wasn't because Tyler needed a screen. This guy can take people off the dribble, and I think in terms of speed of play, he's fine. He's athletic. He's young. He'll be fine. The question is defensively. Norman Powell and Tyler Herro on the floor together. Yeah, that concerns me a little bit, especially since Miami has been giving up a lot of points. They're scoring a lot, so they're going to give up points. But I think, Dono, to answer your question, I'm not concerned about it. I think there'll be a bit of like a learning curve for Herro once he gets back. But once he's back into full swing, I expect this offense to just look a lot better and for them to make more threes and to have somebody else they can rely on. Last night, things are going wrong. You're telling me Tyler Herro can't come in and go and get you some quick offense? Like that could be the difference between nights like that, winning or losing a game. That's your all-star from a season ago.
He'd have been fun to watch this season. They'll continue to be fun to watch, and we'll listen in with Solana on our Heat coverage here on WQAM. Anything coming up on the show today that you want to promote?
We'll be at Emirates Bank Arena. The Panthers are playing today.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, you guys talk a lot of Spanish. Tua McDaniel, all of a sudden they're showing up to press conferences. They're talking Spanish. Time to learn a little bit. Hollywood.
Is Mike McDaniel, is he more eloquent in Spanish than he is in English?
I love what he said. He's like, I would do that language in injustice, and it's like, buddy, you do the English language.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm gonna say, how do you say in Spanish?
They ask him if he likes soccer, and he goes into a 7-minute diatribe explaining the World Cup. It's like, all right, you could just say you don't watch it, buddy. We got you.
Wow.
Well, so anyway, tune into those guys. They'll be at the Panther game here this evening. Solana, I'm probably going to hit you up, by the way, in the next few days here. I assume you get a discount on Heat merchandise, so I got to get my hands on some of those new Vice things, man. That is the best color combination in the history of uniforms. I love those things.
So fire. Another reason why losing yesterday sucked. You go 0-1.
Yeah, they were in the Vice
night. Yeah.
I know. Hey, man, you know what? At least you look good, right?
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's a good point. Hollywood, I got you with the discount, but tell Joe Rose that I want to get hooked up for the Miami Open again this year. All right, that's our deal.
He only gets bad seats. I don't know if you've heard, but everything at the stadium, he only gets bad seats.
Yeah, well, with that head, it doesn't matter where he sits. He can see wherever.
Thanks, Solana. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one, all right?
All right. Nos vemos. Gracias.
See you, Solana.
All right, Solana, thank